Well, we're here with Karo Parisyan. Karo just came off of this fight in Canada on Thursday. You got back in when? Yesterday?
Yesterday afternoon.
Okay. Thank you very much for taking the time to come and talk to us again.
Anytime for high fighters.
Appreciate that. Now, we saw those of us that were fortunate enough to watch the fight. It started out excellent for you. First round, second round got better. Third round, there was a little mishap with a cut on your forehead where you got that big band-aid on there for you. What happened, man?
Man, I felt good, man. Going in the fight, main event, my head was clear. I was great. I felt mentally and physically prepared for the fight. Everything.
And sorry to interrupt you. You looked very, very good. You looked like you were saying before, that anxiety, the way you walked into the ring, none of that stuff was there. You walked in comfortable. You walked in clean. You walked in like the old Karo, man.
Before the interviews I did before the fight, I promised people, I said, listen, win or lose, I didn't want to, obviously, nothing with the loss. I said, win or lose, I'm going to walk in there, I'm going to perform. And I think I lived up to that, what I said. I walked in and I performed. I'm just really upset that on record they go on and say, Karo, it's a TKO apparently. Ryan Ford never hurt me. He caught me with a knee in the third round. I'm not a sore loser. I'm just clearing everything out. I got caught with a knee, and I was slipping on my own blood, still trying to go after him, and the doctor stopped it.
Oh,
the ref stopped it.
So to be clear, in the fight, in the video I was watching, it looked like you fell down. That was not because you were weary. It was just a slippage from the blood on the ring.
Listen, he caught me with a knee, and I shot for a single. And then we scrambled. I got him off of me, and I got top of him, and I stood up. When I stood up, the blood was coming down, and I was slipping on my own blood.
Oh, okay.
And then I was trying to go forward, still fight him, and then that's when the referee stopped and said, we have to have the doctor look at the cut. And that's when I got really pissed. I said, look, they're going to stop this fight because of this cut. Hometown Canada, I'm fighting their guy. 2 rounds to nothing, I'm winning the fight. They're going to steal this away from me. And when I got close to him, he put the band-aid. He said, give me 3 minutes, try to stop the cut. Nothing towards the doctor. He was a great doctor. If it was Stitch, he would have probably stopped it to a certain point where I could have gone back in. 2.5 minutes left for the round. Went after Ryan, and I'm almost positive I would have tied him up and won the round and won the fight. But I got really pissed when they put TKO because Ryan never stopped me. I just got a cut. If it's a loss, you can put it, okay, he lost because of a cut, doctor stoppage, not because of a TKO. I was perfectly fine. The first round floor, he came out trying to throw bombs, no problem. I've seen it all my fights. I turned the fight around. I took over the first round. My manager stole this. He even ran out to the judges and took the scorecards and said 10-9, 10-9, 10-9. We were winning the fight until the third round because of the cut. I just want to clear everything out that I didn't lose the fight because of a TKO. It was a cut that made me stop, not made me, had the judges and the doctor stop the fight, It was very unfortunate, man. I'm really pissed about it, but, it is what it is. I did walk in there, I did perform. I threw the guy maybe 6-7 times at least. I foot swept him like I foot swept my nephew. No disrespect to Ryan Ford, he's a nice guy, but I want to fight him again, a rematch. I will fight him again because I was winning that fight. Unfortunate doctor stoppage because of a cut, and he got the win. But I won that fight. I know I was winning the fight.
Well, speaking of a rematch, did you bring that up over there?
Yes, I said, Ryan, I want a rematch. He said, yeah, sure, no problem, buddy. And then Cage Potato, another big guy in Canada, interviews and stuff, interviewed him after the fight, and he said that, Ryan, your corner even said that you were down 2 rounds to nothing. What do you think about that? He said, yeah, blah, 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 and he didn't have much to say about that. And then they said, how about a rematch, because it was an unfortunate thing. And he said, well, it's up to the promoters now, and etc.
So in other words, you're ready for a rematch tomorrow if it's signed up?
Yes, I swear to God I am. I'll fight Ryan Ford again, and he knows it'll be different.
Would it matter where you fight, or would you fight him again in Canada?
I'll fight him again in Canada, no problem. If the fights were in the States, they wouldn't have stopped that fight. They would have let me continue. It was in Canada, his hometown. Ontario, it was the 3rd fight they ever put on. So they were very scared about the cuts and everything else. They were very jittery about that stuff. So they thought it was the right thing to stop the fight because I was bleeding from my forehead. But damn, dude, I got cut under my eye, which was way worse than my forehead. Stitch stopped the cut in 30 seconds. I mean, I was still bleeding, but I still ended up fighting the third round and winning the fight. If they had only let me continue on the third round, I'm pretty sure I would have come out top. You know, listen, I'm not a sore loser or anything. You know, if I was getting beat to 2 rounds and he caught me with a knee, I would say, listen, you know, I lost the fight.
Right.
I was getting beat up and I got cut. But I was winning both rounds, dominating the second round. I kept on I took in his back, full mouth, side control, throws, takedowns. One of the throws I threw him, he even said that I didn't know where I was after he threw me. This is all Ryan Ford's words, all right?
Right.
I'm just telling everybody, I want everybody to know that the fight was stopped because of the doctor, because of the cut, one. Second of all, I was winning the fight. Third of all, I want a rematch with Ryan Ford. I would love to fight him again wherever he wants. Okay. And I promise everybody it'll be a little bit different. I'm a little jittery and a little pissed off about all this stuff right now because, you know, I put myself into the camp for 2 months. I was ready to fight and I walked in there and I performed. I want people to know that I'm back, as they can see, mentally and physically. You know?
Well, speaking of being back, there was a lot of buzz about the fight, and that was the kind of overall theme that, you know, you are back, the old Karo's back. That second round, from what I read, was a judo clinic, quote unquote, that was put on by Karo Parisyan. How did you feel? I mean, forget the win-loss, forget what happened. How did you feel personally in terms of, you know, what you expected to go through when you went back into the ring, and, you know, your mental state, your physical state?
Before the fight?
Before the fight, and, you know, during the fight, or right before the fight, right? Right when the anxiety usually kicks in before, where, you know, you walk into the ring and there's a million things going on through your head. Was that there? What was going on in your mind at that point for this particular fight?
Listen, in the past, I've said a lot of stuff, and people have said, "Oh, he said this, but it was, you know, he didn't live up to it." You can ask my corner, man. You can ask the people that were there. I was perfectly mentally prepared for the fight. I was excited. It was the 9th, 10th, whichever fight it was. I was the main event. I walked out perfectly, shaking hands, got in the cage. I was ready to go out there and do what I had to do, which I've done since I was 14 years old. Mm-hmm. Even during the fight, I felt like I'm doing good. As the fight goes on, I'm going to break this down more and more. Second round, he was entirely broke. Okay? There was, apparently someone said that I was tired, which was the dumbest thing they could have ever said, because if I'm tired, every time that I was in a little bit uncomfortable position, I scrambled out and got back up. He was on all fours taking punches from me from the side and side, if you saw the fight.
Yeah, I did.
You know? What I'm trying to say is that anxiety had nothing to do with this. I had none of that stuff going on. I'm not the old Karo yet, but I'm coming back, as you can see, and I had this fight in my pocket with a win, unanimous decision. Unfortunate knee cut me, sure. You know, I sure never got caught with the knee, still my fault, but it was a cut that stopped the fight, not a TKO or nothing else. He never hurt me during the fight, never. My plan was go in there, punch or whatever, get him tired in that clinch, take him down, throw him. I was throwing with stuff that I'll throw my nephew with. Foot sweeps, judo throws, anything I wanted to do in the clinch, I was doing with this guy. I just want people to know that I appreciate all the fans that were behind me. I love each and every one of you, because without fans, we have no sport, and we have no fighters, and there's no me. There's nobody. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for supporting me. I hope with this fight and my performance, I showed people that I'm on my way back to becoming what I was, even 10 times better. You know? Because of a cut, it's not going to ruin my record. I don't want to ruin my record, which is, you know, it's living up to it. Or without the cut, you know, I'm pretty sure I had the fight in the pocket. You know, third round, I'm pretty sure I would have gone out there and I would have done the same thing, because he was broken and I wasn't. I've been in those wars all my life. Ryan Ford knows it, and I want to fight him again.
Well, speaking of the fans, Karo, how were you received in Canada? I mean, I know that was Ryan Ford's backyard. His fans were probably 90% of the fans that were there. How did it feel? How did the fans welcome you, accept you, treat you?
I'll tell you, I was, you know, they treated like a king. I can't say anything about that, Pete. There were still fans. You'll get mobbed wherever you go. My corner guy, Sako, he said, dude, when you walk out there, there was a lot of booze and stuff. During the first round, half of the first round, every time you dumped them, they were like, oh, they were all jumping up and down, because, you know, they were seeing skill, and they were seeing technique. They were seeing you taking over the fight. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what he said. And then after the fight was done, he's jumping up on the cage like he finished me. Oh yeah, I won, dude. You caught me with a lucky knee. You were down by score points. and you won the fight, and they gave you the fight because of the cut. You're celebrating like you knocked me out, like you choked me out, or it was a TKO where this ref had to stop in. You stopped, dude. I got on top of you, and they stopped the fight because of the cut. Okay, I could have continued. Everybody knows that. Like I said, I'm speaking a little bit aggressive because I have a lot of anger built up inside me because it was an unfortunate thing that happened. And then second of all, they're putting it on record as TKO, which is not a TKO. It's a doctor stoppage because of a cut. You know, people say you're as good as your last fight. If you remember my last fight with Dennis Hallman and the fight this time I did, I ate bombs this guy threw at me, and I smiled back. I was like, nothing, no problem. I'll come back, and I gave bombs back. I tied him up, and I did what I wanted to do. Yeah. Exactly what I wanted to do was throw him, beat him up on the ground in every aspect of the game. Ryan Ford knows it himself.
Well, Karo, what's next for you, man?
Dude, anything. You know, I'm back. I'm training. I'm young. I can't hang my gloves up. I'm not 34 years old, you know? I know I have so much more left in me, and I know I have a lot to do in the sport as far as prepare myself for fights.
Right.
And, you know, people are like, oh, you know, you be humble and this and that. Dude, I've always been honest. Honesty sometimes can come out cocky. There's a very thin line between honesty, humble, and cockiness, and this is who I am. If I talk a little rash, that's who I am. But I'm not an ass to people. I don't have a bad heart towards people. You know, it is what it is. I speak the truth, and the truth is, as you can see in the camera, in the video, and whatever you watch, is that I'm winning the fight. I catch a knee. They stop the fight because of a cut, and then they write TKO. It's unfair. It's a doctor stoppage, etc. And I want to fight Ryan Ford again. I'll fight anybody, even in his hometown, Edmonton, just to make a point.
Well, you have definitely made that point. Hopefully the right people will see this video and give you your chance to for a rematch. And on that note, Karo, again, I thank you very much for your time. I mean, congratulations are in order for the fight. Maybe not necessarily for the end result, but you know, it's definite positive from where it was a couple other fights before this.
Yeah,
so.
Like I said, you know, I just want to clear everything out. You know, I'm back to my normal self. I dug a really deep hole for 3 years. It was a roller coaster ride for my life, you know. I was back and forth. I was battling a lot of stuff in my personal life. Whether it was people said, oh, pain medications, anxiety, and all this stuff. People can, you know, a lot of people say a lot of stuff. But I'm over that stuff. I'm back to trying.
And it shows.
And it shows, exactly. And I'm back, and I'm trying to come back and fight. It just kills me, man, that I knew I had this fight in my pocket. You know, and I had the fight in my pocket, and because of a small error, I catch a knee, and then the cut opens up, and they stop the fight because of the cut.
You know what? Let me ask you this, though. I've always thought about this, too, and again, this is nothing against you or Ryan Ford. But in the sport of MMA, where your objective is to basically knock the guy out,
okay,
is there such a thing as a lucky punch?
Listen.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, your objective is to
in boxing, there is no lucky punch. In boxing, if you're you know, it's... In boxing is... I'm bringing boxing examples because, you know, your main thing is to just box.
Right.
So there's no luck. If you're throwing a punch, you're trying to knock somebody out.
Right.
In MMA, you can do this stuff and one might clip and knock somebody out. So yes, there is lucky punches in MMA. I've seen guys close their eyes and do this and knock somebody out. I wasn't knocked out. Again, I caught a knee. Right. That's all it was. And even my corner guys, they were celebrating the fight. They were like, dude, you did an awesome job. Oh my God, unbelievable. You did exactly what you had to do. You won the fight. Forget about it. His hometown, you got to cut. They stopped the fight. I was like, I don't care, man. This fight was mine. I came in to win this fight, you know? I just want people, and the people that really know this fight game, from the UFC to everybody else, to really understand that I'm trying to make an effort here. I'm trying to come back. And the only way I'll come back is if I fight my way back. You know, I've been fighting all my life, and again, I thank everybody that was behind me and supports me. I love each and every one of you. I hope I don't disappoint you guys with this. You know, I just want to show you guys that I'm training and I'm making an effort trying to come back to the sport and give the fans what they want to see. Everybody said that, you know, basically you put on a judo clinic and we love your throws. And next time I'll come on, maybe put a boxing clinic if I have to. But whatever it is, I'll perform. And next time, I don't care what it is, man. I hope Ryan Ford takes the fight, and I'll take the fight to him, period.
Well, Can't be any more clear than that, Karo. Again, I want to thank you very much. Good to see you back. Thank you for the time, for the interview, and we'll wait to hear what's next in your career, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. God bless everybody. Thanks so much. High fighters, baby.
Thank you.